We're old enough to know better, right? I mean, if we don't have any money, we shouldn't be out spending on a whole new spring wardrobe. But we just can't help ourselves. I'm here to tell you, it's not your fault. Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. If you don't know me, my name is Sara. I'm the owner of FrozenPennies.com. I'm a certified financial coach and a certified life coach, and as a family, we are debt-free. So I'm here to tell you that this overspending issue that you have may not necessarily be your fault. Society has trained us to shop for sport, and they've convinced us that being in debt is a natural part of adulthood. We're always going to be in debt. We're never going to be able to retire, so why bother? Overspending and impulse purchases often involve emotional triggers rather than rational decision making. Emotions can influence us in different ways, including these: instant gratification, escaping negative emotions, social comparisons, fear of missing out, and decision-making bias. Now this last one is kind of a bit tricky, so I'll explain that one later. Before I go into explaining those 5 things, I want to tell you a little bit about my friend Jennifer. Now Jennifer has a beautiful home. I'm talking over $600,000 in a gorgeous location. Now her and her husband had this home since they were married, gosh, I think like 40 years ago. It was a family home that they purchased from the family at a really great price. They've been living there ever since. It was 2 family, so they had an upstairs, a family member had a downstairs for the longest time, and then they switched. It's only been her and her husband for years, and she's always had an amazing hobby for shopping. Now they have refinanced their house quite a few times. They've paid off their credit card debts quite a few times, and they've gotten themselves back into debt again. They've always loved fancy vacations and cruises. They've always had brand new vehicles. Now it's time they're really considering retirement. Now she would like to retire, I think, in about 5 or 6 years, and they're a little bit stuck because they don't have a lot of retirement savings. However, they do have this big house. Their plan is, unfortunately, to sell the house that they've loved so much. They've had a history of overspending in the past, and now, unfortunately, they have to sell their home in order to have money to retire. Had they made different choices in the past, they may have been able to age in place right where they live. However, you can't go back and change the past, but you can start today in saving some money and not overspending. There are lessons that we can learn now from Jennifer in order to not fall into this trap later on. So the real reason that you have no money could probably be the fact that you're overspending. Now this isn't only just for people who are making $70, $80, $100, $200,000. There is no socioeconomic label on overspending. I know somebody who I have coached who's got very little income coming in, yet she tends to overspend on Amazon because it's easy. I mean, let's face it, I've fallen victim to overspending on Amazon a time or two in my day. So if you caught that whole life coach thing at the intro, that's new. I decided to go get a certification in life coaching because in order for me to help women a little bit more, I felt that getting some training in the whole life coaching realm would really help me put my knowledge of money and my knowledge of life experiences together in order to learn a little bit more on how I can specifically help. This whole overspending impulse purchase area for me is very interesting. I am an overspender. I know that sounds funny because I'm frugal, but you can be frugal and be an overspender at the same time. For me, it was just about finding the really good deals and not passing them up because they were a really good deal. Even if I didn't need them, I was going to get them because they were a really good deal. That's overspending. And many times, impulse purchases flow right into that frugal living mindset because you're out grocery shopping and you see that cereal is on clearance. So you buy 6 boxes of cereal. you probably just impulse purchased and you probably just overspent because those 6 boxes of cereal, A, were not on your list, and B, were not budgeted for. Now let's go back to those 5 emotions that feed into this overspending and impulse purchase thing. We're all familiar with instant gratification. We all know what instant gratification means, and we all know how it feeds into our overspending and impulse purchases. It's all emotional. It's all about how you feel, that surge of energy that you get when you find a really good deal on a pair of boots. You know what I'm talking about, right? That excitement that you get when the Amazon packages arrive and you get to rip into those boxes and see what you got. The feeling of instant gratification and excitement that you feel after leaving Target with a whole cart full of things that weren't on your list. There are 2 concepts to the instant gratification emotion. We either see it and think, I will deal with the budget later, or we don't even think about the budget. We're so excited with this emotion that we're feeling that we don't even think that there's a budget. The second is the escaping of the negative emotions. I know for many people, shopping is a form of therapy. I mean, they don't call it retail therapy for nothing, right? So when you're bored, you go shopping. When you're sad, you go shopping. When you're feeling down or anxious about something, you go shopping. When you're feeling depressed, you go shopping. When you're feeling any of those things, going shopping will give us that dopamine boost. All of the pretty colors and the textures and the sounds and the brightness of the stores and the music and the people and the shopping bags. It will all feed us, feed our emotional well-being and make us feel better. Next is social comparison. I think that this is much more prominent today than it ever has been because of social media. How many people do you know that when they get a new car, they take a picture and put it on Facebook? Or when they're out to dinner with friends, they take a group picture. I know that we do this all the time. Group picture for Facebook. The envy or desire to keep up with the status of your peers, regardless of how it affects your finances, is a real thing. It's a true emotional aspect of overspending. And one of the reasons why we tend to overspend. Keeping up with the Joneses. There's a reason why us financial gurus use that saying all the time, because it's true. There's so many of us who feel the need for new cars all the time, just like Jennifer. Being able to take pictures of you on your cruise to post to social media is a true issue of overspending. And now let's talk about FOMO, fear of missing out. This resembles social comparison a little bit, except you fear that you're going to be left out of something if you don't spend money. A wedding is a perfect example. If your dearest friend wants you to go to the wedding, and it's a destination wedding and a tropical vacation, and you know that the airfare itself is going to be thousands of dollars, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out on an amazing vacation and your dearest friend's wedding. However, you don't have the money. That's a lot of money to spend. Not only are you going to have to do airfare and hotel stay, and of course you're going to need something new to wear, and a gift for the couple. That's a lot going on. But the fear of missing out on that extraordinary experience will probably cause you to overspend. Anxiety and insecurities can really prompt you to overspend because of the fear of missing out. This to me is super fascinating. Decision-making bias. This means that you make up your mind about something really, really fast without taking into consideration the consequences. So let's use our friend Sally as an example. Sally loves candy. Sally gets candy every time she goes someplace. When Sally goes to the candy store, she sees candy. She doesn't think about how much money she has. She doesn't think about whether she has candy at home. She just wants that candy. She just makes that decision to get that candy based on tricks that her mind is already playing on her. Your mind is playing tricks on you and trying to talk you into something. If you're not having that argument with yourself, then there's no rational decision making going on there. As long as you can get the angel and devil keep going and get that angel to talk that devil out of purchasing those boots, that makes sense. But if you only have the devil on your shoulder trying to talk you into those boots, the rational decision making is gone. So just knowing that these 5 emotions are playing a role in your overspending can really help you to decrease your overspending just a little bit. Knowing that these 5 emotions have influence over your overspending and impulse purchasing, and doing a little practicing when you get into a role like this will help you to curb the overspending just a little bit. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate you and have a great day. Bye-bye.